tell. It just rolled
Mm,
off the tongue, man. But yeah, I don't know. Let's try to move on to another topic. But
mm.
I think you might have to lead the way on this one, David. I haven't heard much about this Facebook candidate declares a premature victory thing. What have
Mm.
you heard about that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, they were basically like social media. They've recently been doing like things, like when basically because Trump's always trying to say, fucking election's gonna be rigged. There's nothing going on. They've been putting like measures, putting like notes like under posts saying like, elections are like usually pretty well done and it's really hard to rig elections, and it's it's I didn't really read that article to be honest with you, but
Yeah,
like
I know. Like,
they're gonna stop this
I
shit.
know
Like if
that.
he tries to claim premature victory.
Right, exactly. Like I've seen on YouTube, for example, that they have a lot. Like when I streamed earlier, just for funsies, I had election in the title,
Mm,
and something came up basically like, "Be careful for election misinformation," because I had election in the title.
yeah.
A lot of social media, excuse me, fuck, a lot of social media websites are really trying to crack down on it. However, I don't think that they're really. It's strange because, like, on one hand, I'm like, it's probably good that you don't allow blatant propaganda on your site that's like blatantly lying about
Mm,
things, right? But at the same
yeah.
time, like, they have an agenda as well that's kind of like weird, and like
Mm,
things that they don't allow is weird, and things that they do allow is also weird. Like they're not very consistent in their choices on what to allow. And I think Facebook is the worst example of that because like they got under so much pressure from
mm,
Congress and from officials about allowing political ads on their site without fact checking them. And their whole excuse was basically like, "Oh, we're not fact checkers. Like we're just a forum for people to post things on," which is technically true legally. Like they have no legal
mm,
justification for saying that they have to police what people say, but at the same time, like it's a negative for
yeah.
for the public good to have these people just
Mm.
freely propagandizing to everyone.
I mean, yeah. The reason why things like QAnon, and like conspiracies, that shit, like fucking, like it spreads through fucking Facebook like easily,
Yeah,
and these old decrepit people online using Facebook still, they eat that shit up.
yeah.
Like for some
It's actually
reason, yeah.
it's such a scary process to see someone get radicalized
Mm,
by this too. Like I don't know what to call it, like the Facebook pipeline or whatever.
mm,
But my grandpa like goes down this line. He like I hear it's so crazy because we talk on the podcast about right wing stuff all the time. We
mm,
talk about like the crazy shit that conservatives say that's just and we joke and laugh about it. But when you hear a human being like say this shit to you, it's almost like you're in a movie. Like you can't even believe
mm.
what they're saying.
Like
Like my
wait, what?
grandpa says shit like stuff about like in 2016. I haven't talked to my
Mm,
grandpa much, obviously, but
yeah.
like, but back then he was big on like the whole Benghazi thing, and I'm like, what are you even like? Why are you talking about this? Like Trump's been president for
Mm,
like a year and a half now. Why are you still talking about this
mm,
Benghazi shit? What are you on about? And like they'll just talk about weird stuff and bring up like Pizzagate, like QAnon. He was into that shit. Like
yeah.
he would talk about like he would never use words like QAnon or Pizzagate or anything like that
Mm.
because he's an old guy. He's like not hip with
The
the
what
lingo,
now?
but he's still on the
Yeah.
like he's on the like new Zoomer QAnon shit. He just
Mm,
doesn't know what it's called because he's like disconnected from social media.
yeah.
So he talks about how like the Democrats are raping kids and keeping them in shops under the basement, and I'm like, where did you hear that? And of
What?
course I know the answer, but but he doesn't
Yeah.
know. It's weird.
Yeah. It's
It's
weird.
cool.
Old. Yeah.
It's crazy to me how old people, like older
Mm,
people who aren't really active in the social media, like how they get radicalized. Where do they see this stuff? Because like
mm,
me, I'm like terminally online. I have like
mm,
Twitter and stuff. My grandpa doesn't use like all he uses is Facebook and only like once a month. You know,
mm.
I'm wondering where he gets his propaganda from
I don't know.
because
Probably he
you know
hops on 4chan.
Fox, I guess. 4chan. You think he
Yeah.
has a fucking 4chan? Dude, I would
Fuck.
love my grandpa to be on 4chan.
It's fucking
I
funny.
can't wait to be like old and to be actually like hip. All the old people I
Nah,
know in my
bro.
family are like
Mm,
not hip. They're not with it. But me, I'm gonna be hip as fuck when I'm old. I'm literally gonna be like gaming.
mm.
Well, my
Like,
wrists are probably gonna be fucked by the time I'm
yeah, I
old. But
know, dude. You've been destroying your wrist playing WoW recently.
yeah,
Fuck.
I
I know
can't
you
stop.
tried getting a mount. You were streaming earlier, and you fucking
Yeah.
ended the stream with a fucking staring at the camera. Oops, I just fucking spilled Diet Pepsi on my fucking on my desk. But we'll deal with that later. But yeah, as I was gonna say earlier, like old people for some
Sorry,
reason
go ahead.
they like doing these, three things. They like voting for Trump, they like voting Republican. They fucking love shit posting on Facebook, and they love conspiracies.
I don't think it's old people though. I think it's like a specific type of old people because I know this person that lives across the street from me, and she's like in her 70s, so
Hmm.
she's pretty fucking old. And like she is one of the red-bloodedest socialists that I know. She's like really into fucking leftist politics,
Mm.
and she's old. So like I don't think it's an excuse to be old because I know a lot of old people that are comrades. So I don't think you automatically get off. You're like, oh, I'm 70, so it's okay if I'm racist.
Mm.
No, fuck that. Like
Yeah,
you can be old and be chill.
yeah, for sure.
Like I don't know.
And
That's gonna be me someday.